Woo! Here we are.
All the shift is in the house. Say,
All the
boom.
shift is in the house. And we're clean cut today. We're going to try and do clean cut in it. We're trying real hard to honor freshness of spring and the little green sprouts and it's all clean green. Yeah. And then that's the whole intent. And then
Okay.
I pull up and park here for the show, and Cari comes on and she is wearing this. Okay, how can I say this nicely? This jersey of a team. Where are they in the playoffs again?
Well,
it has a big, for anybody who's just listening in, it has a big C on the front of it. And I was like, okay, if we're going to play that game, I'm going to represent. So I went and got my one with a number 97. It's in an orange and blue. We do happen to be in the playoffs again.
Okay, well, let me just put it this way. Okay. So I am a former Flames fan from many years ago. Okay. So then as we won the cup many months ago, it's like, cool, that's great. And then it just got worse from there. And I was like, okay, I understand. That's fine. Whatever. Like, it is what it is. No problem. I do like another team, which you'll find out in a second.
Okay.
And the issue, not so much an issue, but I was like, my boyfriend got us tickets to the game last night. So I was like, you know what? He works really hard and, does the things. And this is like, it was like the Flames' last game of the season. Now, we didn't actually know that we were out of the playoffs until close to the second period because we were riding along with another team on the standings and we were literally like a point or something or whatever, like just level with another team on the playoff standings. And I was like, okay, I didn't know that going into the game. My boyfriend knew it, but I didn't know it. And usually every year I've been doing a hockey pool, fantasy hockey pool. This year I dubbed out of it because I was just so busy with everything else. And I just didn't have time to go on and change my players up and look at the writings and, all that stuff. Like it's, it's fun. Yes. But it's a lot of work to keep up. And then, the heckling goes on and I'm like, oh, like I forgot to put my guys in and then I'm losing. Right.
Yeah.
So that happened last year. I was actually doing really good with my fantasy league. I was actually first spot for like 3 or 4 weeks. I was like, oh, wow. Yay. And then it got busy and I was like, and then it would be like, the game would be on and I'm like, gosh, I forgot to put my players in. And I'm like, so
good
I came in like last and I'm like, okay, this year I'm not going to do it because I don't have the time and I don't want other people, like they could have more fun with it, whatever. So I was like, I'm going to bow out gracefully. That was my last year. And it was with a group of people that are not really in my life anymore anyway. So I'm like, that's okay. It's all, they can have it. They can have fun. So that's why I'm representing. I was like, you know what? I'm going to represent my city as well, because why not? Yes, I don't like the Oilers. That is fine. However, that's the story of that.
Well, I grew up in Saskatchewan and we have nothing but the Rough Riders. Oh, comes the real truth. She's taking off her shirt, everybody.
Give me 2 seconds.
She's got to take out her earbuds. She'll be back in 2 seconds. But yeah, I grew up in Saskatchewan and all we had was the Rough Riders for professional teams. And pretty much everybody was a Oilers fan. And those who weren't were probably Bombers. Sorry, not Bombers, but Jets and Bombers. And it seemed like the Jets and Bombers were kind of the same people. So, they were their own breed and that's perfectly fine.
It is fine.
Yeah. So now she's sporting an LA Kings. And now I see why you don't like the Oilers. because we're
I have
going into
been a
playoffs
Kings fan
together.
for over about
And you
10
know what?
years or
You
so.
wiped our butts the other night, so
I know.
yeah.
And
5-0.
I have nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, go team, but not so loud in front of my
Yeah,
boyfriend because I'm like, I want to support him and cheer on the Flames and all that good stuff. And he knows I'm a Kings fan. That's fine and dandy. And then when the Flames play Calgary, it's like, okay, he can cheer for Calgary. I'll cheer for my
mixed
team.
marriage. Yeah.
All good. So, and that's the healthy and fun part about it.
Yeah.
So now what I want to say is that when it comes to playoffs, this reminds me of spring. And I'm
It
like,
does. It does.
the trades are coming. There was March Madness, all that kind of stuff for all these sports. It's blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, playoffs are coming. Spring is here.
I love it. Yes. So we're talking about spring shifts today. And there's a lot of things to think about around spring. So some sports like hockey are going into playoffs, the professional sports, and uh, some sports are just getting started, like kids playing ball and that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
today is a typical day. I was outside today. I'm sporting a nice windswept look
Windblown hair.
with the dews. Yeah, and when we started the show, we're like, I put on some Lipsol, and then Carrie's like, I should too. And I'm like, I had to wait and put it on when I came inside, or it'd be full of dirt. And I've eaten a lot of dirt from standing out around coaching and on the side of ball diamonds and playing ball or that kind of thing. So
You dirty
yeah,
girl.
dirty girl. Yeah.
And this is a clean show.
Yeah, this weather is just like I was literally out on my deck yesterday in a bikini in the sun. And today I was in a turtleneck and, a jacket. And I could have wore a toque. If I'd had to go for a walk, I'd have had a toque on. So I think that's part of spring is we have these weather shifts. And I'm curious when we get these ups and downs, and I've just noticed people's comments around what it does to their mood and their psyche. They're like, oh my God, I thought winter was finally over and it's snowing again today, or it was nice and warm, now it's cold, like what kind of mood shifts do they feel? And even as far as that second winter thing. So I've, I've, we all kind of agree May long weekend, there's typically snow, and that's kind of usually our last snow. And my memory from that is I remember building snowmen. There was that much snow that we'd have snowman, and it was late enough in May that some of that was still there, that snowman, when we hit June.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get so excited because usually it is prior to April, March or April. It's usually creeping up towards Easter week. And like right now, it's super cloudy and it is windy out here as well. But yeah, yesterday was so beautiful, gorgeous, and hot. I was like, oh, so every year when it gets close to Easter, I'm like, oh, we're so close. Can we make it without snow? And we were threatened with snow. Like I was looking at my app, my weather app, and it was like, oh, there's snow. But we missed, like it didn't come. Like I think it was forecasted for last week or something. And so we missed it, or it just wasn't cold enough for snow. Now the forecast is rain. So we'll see what happens over the weekend. Because as rain is great, but then it can turn into the white fluffy stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll
It's a
see. We'll
four-letter
see how it
word.
goes. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, one more snowfall is fine because it's usually gone within a few hours or something. If it's overnight, it's gone within the day. Then we know spring is kind of officially here. I think that's kind of our little good luck charm. It's like one more snowfall and there it is. Here we go. Here's your last snowfall. And then spring. Yay.
So do you feel inspired around like a fresh start? How some people kind of it's almost like, should we maybe consider spring as our new year instead of like that post-Christmas, that seems like people's energy drops and there's that disappointment and they see there's still 2 or 3 months of winter coming and it's cold and there's a big a whole bunch of charges on your credit card, and you didn't get what you wanted for Christmas, like all that, like that stuff. It's
Yeah.
almost like is spring maybe easier to feel that new year, and
Newness and
oh yeah, I'm gonna commit to. Plus, bikini season is pretty close,
yeah.
so it maybe makes us a
I
little more
mean,
committed to certain goals.
you can wear a bikini in your house all year round. I see nothing wrong with that. I mean, why not? Put up, fill up the hot tub and pretend
Yep.
you're on a tropical island, whatever. Fill up your living room with sand. And now on that, we did say back at fall, our fall shifts, how that could seem also like a new year because then
Yes.
the kids are back at school. It
Yeah.
is their kind of beginning of their school year.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
now, do we relate the newness to a season, or do we relate it to, January, or do we relate it to a fresh new year with the spring coming because it's a renewal of like the earth? So I think everyone has a
Yep.
time where maybe it's fresh and new for them. Spring for me, I mean, because I just love summer so much, and
Yes.
I love the sun. I love being out there, and I like being warm. I don't like being cold. So,
I hear you, sister.
but again, beauty with winter. Let's not get that wrong. Beautiful snow, beautiful. You can go make the snowman. There's a lot of Christmas. There's positives in every single season, and we wanted to shift that, right? Don't want to have the bad mindset about each season. So with the renewal of the earth, the flowers just starting to bud, and then the trees, you could just see like the little
Yeah.
buds, like, oh, so I get excited for that. I'm like, oh, because then it's like I can go paddling, I can go for longer walks or something outside, and I don't have to bundle up, or you could just throw flip-flops on and go to the car and go drive wherever you need to go. Like it's,
Yeah.
I don't know, less work.
It
I
is.
don't know. But then all my clients right now, even today, I was cleaning at a client's today. I said, hey, Easter's just around the corner. Do you want a nice fresh clean? So to them, a lot of the clients it's like spring cleaning time. So it is a bit of a renewal for them because, you get a clean house, then it goes into the purging for
Yes.
some
I'm
clients as
happy you
well.
went down this path. Okay,
Yeah,
let's dig into
yeah.
this.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna wind into. So, which can be okay. Is it just the purging of a house, or is it a purging of how we're thinking, a purging of what we're eating, a purging of bad mindsets? Like there's a whole lot that can go into it. So that's why I really like spring, is because as soon as the spring cleanings come, the next time I'm usually at my client's house for a clean, I see that they've been purging, and I'm like, oh, it's so sweet because I encourage a clean house and just like that clean space, the clean mentality of, I can just see where they're at, and it just makes me kind of like proud in a way. I'm just like so happy for my clients.
Well, there's science behind that though too, Cari,
Mhm.
that our brains, we are wired to want to categorize and sort things. So when we're surrounded by clutter, that burns up a lot of our time and energy, and it can be very overwhelming. And we do feel stuck, or after a while it's like, I don't even know where to start. This is so overwhelming. It's gotten ahead of me. And it's depressing. Like it does affect
Mhm.
us, affect our mental health too. And so that
Yeah.
can be really tough.
Yeah, it can be. I've had clients too where they just will ask me, like, I don't know where to begin with, just a thorough purging of their
Mhm.
house. And I say, what is the room that you most frequent? Is it your kitchen, or is it your bedroom? The bedroom, yeah, it's most frequent only because we sleep in there, and that's 8 hours, but we're not seeing it.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we're just sleeping. We're not physically, there. Well, I mean, we're there, but anyway, you know
Yeah.
what I'm getting at,
I
right?
know
So we're
what you're
not
getting at.
looking around at our surroundings while we're sleeping. Whereas the rest of your house during your day, where are you spending your time? So for me, it could be between my studio sometimes my living room, depending on where I'm working the most. So
Yep.
those are my two spaces where I like to make sure like it's clutter free, it's a happy space, and I can just feel free to just plop down and not have to worry about things. So yeah, what about you, Deena? What's
Well,
your happy
I
space?
just, yeah, I love this purging that and that spring. You feel, I think as we shed layers of, especially us who love our summers so much, and as you're shedding layers, you want to shed other things and clean and shift
Yeah.
and, maybe rearrange some furniture or just add a fresh, um, colorful cushion, or maybe I have a different wreath on the front of the door for spring than I have, say, Christmas or fall, that kind of thing. But I just started this about 5 days ago, and I thought, why don't I, instead of trying to tackle my closet, because I've noticed, I saw a really cute meme the other day, and I've noticed the same, that my spring wardrobe is so happy to see me that it's hugging me extra tight. That was a cute way of saying it. Um, and so I thought, I don't really have time to tackle the whole closet, but I'm going to challenge myself every single day. I'm going to choose one thing to take out of that closet or dresser. And if it doesn't make me feel like $1,000,000 to wear it, it's out. And yeah, so I've been doing really good so far. I've gotten rid of a half a dozen things or so, and I think I'm even a couple days ahead because I noticed a couple other things in one day. And so I think that's really good. I'm curious though, Cari, when you've done, what's like the weirdest thing you've come across either in your own home or somebody else's home, that when you were helping like spring clean? And then the second part of that question is, as a cleaner, what kind of tips would you give to people when they are trying to decide how to pare down?
Okay, the weirdest thing. Oh my goodness.
Besides like dead mice and stuff.
Oh no, well, have I ever really kind of, yeah, I guess I
In the
have.
garage.
Well, I cleaned, my friends own a farm. So I actually have ran into mice before when I was, cleaning out a shop or whatever. So that, it's expected on a
Oh, yeah.
farm,
Yeah.
even though it's maybe just because some feed was sitting around, whatever, and they got into it. But that's not weird,
No,
because
I'm thinking weird.
my goodness, maybe I can't even think what's
Think about
weird.
it. Put that on the back burner and tackle the second half later.
Okay, the second half was tips. Just go for it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
So one
seriously,
thing I've
like
seen, like in closets, say, if we're going to talk
I've
about that, is turn your hangers the opposite way. And if like you could do that every
heard that.
quarter, every 6 months, whatever, if you haven't
Yeah.
worn it or you've been through all the seasons and you haven't turned that hanger around when you wore it,
Yeah.
then it probably get rid of it. Or
You
ask
can do that.
yourself, if I was in a store right now, would I buy this? Not if
Mm-hmm.
it's on sale, but if it was regular price, would I buy
Would you
this?
buy
Because
it?
some of the
Right.
things find their way in the closet because it was on sale. It's like, oh, it's such a good deal. I need to buy it, even though it makes my butt look weird and it's like one
Yeah,
leg on the pants is shorter than the other, whatever it is. So
exactly.
um those are some
Yeah,
little things people can consider maybe.
exactly. And same with, I would even go to like the kitchen, usually is one of the most cluttered places when it comes to excessive mugs or excessive just,
Oh, yeah.
utensils, things like that. Again, maybe go down to, what are the favorite cups that everyone's using? If there's a favorite mug, like I've got two of my favorite mugs only because if one breaks, I've got another one.
Yep.
So I don't have it with me, but it's just a plain pink cup. And it's kind of a bigger one. It's more like almost like a saucer. You could almost stick soup in it because it's
Mm.
nice and big. I usually have it and I'm usually drinking from it. So yeah, just pare down to what are you really using the most? And then either you can give away, like you don't have to give away your other mugs to a used store, the restores or a thrift store or whatever. You can give it away to homeless shelters. That's one good way to get rid of them. Or if you still love that mug kind of so much and you want to see it, maybe give it to a friend and be like, if you go frequent that friend, like, can I use my mug at your house?
Exactly.
Right?
Or if you want to see it every day,
Yep. There
turn
you
it
go.
into a
You
pen
can
holder or plant a
toothbrush
little, make
holder.
it a plant holder.
Yeah, reuse things that you may not be using if you don't really want to get rid of it. But don't do that with all your items. Like,
No, you need a couple mugs in the cupboard.
but now you can also go to, I know people have kids' clothes and it's just so overwhelming. Some people have made quilts with kids'
Yes.
clothes. You can also make little frames and put them in there and like, oh, first birthday, and you got like a little onesie and a first picture. Would it, make a little camouflage, a little decoupage
Shadow
of it,
box. Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, fun little projects. Shadow boxes as well. I like shadow boxes. They're
Yeah.
one of my favorite things to do because I'll make shadow boxes of trips and stuff. I'll put like tickets in there and brochures, whatever.
Seashells.
And yeah, and it's really fun. And that way you don't have it spread all over your house. It's just in one little thing. So, but if you do want to clean, I would say, one of the biggest things that just saves a lot of time and energy is just clean up after yourself as you go, or
Mhm.
clean as you go, is what they call it. So if you're in the kitchen, and you're either loading a dishwasher or you just ate, and I like the evening time because then, you can quickly do dishes. It's done for the evening, no separate dishes. Then that way it's a fresh start for the next day. And then you can just take even a Lysol wipe and just quickly do the counters so quickly. You don't have to, get out the all-purpose cleaner and do a big thing, but just a quick little wipe down. It's just
Well,
nice to make up to a clean area.
yeah, and while you're loading the dishwasher, if you load some stuff and you're like, this is actually kind of broken, or
Yeah.
I've never liked this mug. It's in my hand. Like if we're going to talk about mugs, it's
Yeah.
always awkward, or it isn't big enough, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's an opportunity. Every time you're in that space is just look around. And another tip
Mhm.
that I read about one time, if you're trying to rearrange furniture, or this can work for sorting or organizing, is take a
Mhm.
picture on your phone. It's nuts how much that changes the perspective. If you look at it, it's almost like it makes it a neutral picture, like you're looking at somebody else's home, and you're going to notice things and go, oh, I bet you it would look better if we moved this over there, or this looks like a junk pile. You're
Mhm.
going to see it differently than if you're standing there looking at it real life. I don't know. That might help for some people
Yeah.
too.
Or you can rearrange it
Yep.
and then take a picture and see, okay, do I like it? Is it kind of flowing with the space? There's also programs that you can, like apps and whatever, you can do it on your computer and see if you like a design or something. But I like it more. I'm like you, I'm a very visual person. So I like to see it in front of me and go, okay, does this work with what I'm feeling and the
Yeah.
flow, and try and switch it up. You never know. You never know what can happen. And then, even a fresh coat of paint sometimes for
Yes.
one room or just a wall sometimes is really nice. But going back to when you were saying loading the dishwasher or even your closet, just have a box. If you know you're going to be purging for a little while, just put a little basket or a box somewhere in a room. Could be your laundry room or just somewhere off where you can quickly just go and put it in there. And then I would say by the end of the month, take it and take it away, because otherwise you're going to go back and
Yep.
go, oh, I want this
Yep.
mug or I want this shirt or what. I've been guilty of that so many times. And like literally I've given away some clothes before, a whole bag just recently, and I was like looking for a shirt and I was like, oh, I think that was in that bag. And I'm
Right?
like, that's okay, it's gone, like goodbye, all good, whatever. So
Yeah.
it's
There's a
okay.
reason that it went. So another
Yeah.
thing that I'm curious is, people often in this change of like what's fresh, what's new, there's a restlessness in it, and that can translate into their jobs, their careers, and their relationships too.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
but it can, so say like a spring fever, we've heard that term. People get spring fever and they're just like, I want to get going, or I feel stuck. Like I just feel free. I want to flap my wings and go places and do things and make
Yeah.
some changes. And that can be for the better as well. It's actually takes some courage to do that. And yeah, it might be, you know, sometimes spring fever, let's say in a relationship, it doesn't lead to breakups, it leads to the opposite. It's like
Hmm. A more spicy time.
a little spicy, yes.
So that's good. Good
That
in
is
all
good,
different
yeah,
ways. And it can also be a good time to sit down if you're parents and go, hey, how's the household running?
yeah,
Um, different perspectives in that way and go, what can we start fresh as a family? Maybe some different activities or get the kids involved and go, hey, what do you think you guys want to do? Like a new routine or whatever? I mean, why not? Just kind of see maybe weekly you guys are going on a little adventure. It could be biking around the block. It could be, because then as it gets nicer out now, usually the kids want to play outside more, they're more active. Um, Go bike riding, I say go try a new park each month or
good
each,
idea.
I know that would be more into the summer shifts, but as we're planning out spring, because it's going to go into summer, we know that, but why not start now? If you're going to do those fresh new routines, why not plan it out now? Go try a new restaurant, go try a new park, go try a new staycation, something like that,
Yeah.
and just have fun with it. Because why not? You know,
What I was
Change up.
thinking when you were saying that is this is a great time of year to also ask your family what would they love to do in the summer, and you could start planning that now.
Mhm.
And just ask them for ideas instead of last minute. All of a sudden, school's just about you're out,
Yeah.
and it's oh, what
Oh,
what should we do? And the campgrounds are booked, and
yeah.
you're already feeling a scramble, and you've already committed to maybe some other things that now there's never a full week or a weekend that everybody's available to do something as a family. So if you can start looking at some dates and even everybody say, okay, this is when we're going to do a holiday. Let's look at some ideas, but at least we're reserving this time and that we can look forward to spending
Yeah.
time together as a family.
Well, one of my clients, they do camp like RV. They go out and they do things. They were actually booking their camping spots about a month ago.
Yeah.
So it goes really quickly. It's really amazing how, especially if you're going into Banff, Canmore, that section, if you're in Canada, because I know we're all over the place here, but look ahead because if you can't, you have to reserve those really quickly if you're going to do that. So I'd say, yeah, get on the ball like now, like today. So, but
Yeah.
with that, I know it's even hard right now because now we're preparing for Easter, which
Hmm.
is our other spring shift going into like the renewal, resurrection, and more of the religious renewal. So there is that side to it too. So Deena, what are your thoughts on and should we, go into some traditions? What do you think for the Easter shifts?
Well, I think it's a loaded topic
I
for
know.
uh, you and I. We are like anybody who's been in our audience knows we both come from very strict religious upbringings, and that was very much something that was uh, I want to say indoctrinated for us. And so that's not a priority for me, not even a priority. It's not a part of my life anymore by choice. And
Mhm.
some of that comes from a trauma response from, I've shared this before, the years of abuse and how, that programming, kept me locked in that. So to me, it wasn't a healthy experience, but it did give me uh, a real strong foundation of integrity and honesty and that kind of thing. So it's not all bad. I'm not I'm not going to criticize somebody for their beliefs because I appreciate their respecting my beliefs as well.
Yeah.
For me now, it has, there's zero recognition in my world around the religious part of it,
Yeah.
but it's a fun weekend. My grandkids are going to be here and my daughter, and we're going to do the Easter bunny, leave leave carrots out for the bunny, just like he leaves cookies for Santa. And I have plenty of space on the acreage for the bunny to have fun leaving things for the boys. And it's a blast, right? So it's
Yeah.
just, it's a long weekend that with some fun ways to participate. And I traditionally would make this bunny, it's like this 3D bunny cake. And I used to donate them all the time. I'd make
Wow.
extras and donate them to fundraisers, and they would look forward to them in my little hometown. So there are little traditions that I still do, and I was doing even, when I was more in that religious environment, when I was raising my
Mhm.
own kids too.
Yeah.
But it's like, however people, I feel it's positive. There's a positive vibe to it, however people choose to celebrate. How about you,
Mhm.
Carrie?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's because for me it's still pretty fresh. So, you know, the back of my mind, it's still there, like, okay, we did all the ceremonies and it's very heavy. Like things start basically tomorrow and it's like go, go,
Mhm.
go right until like Easter Monday, basically. So
Maundy Thursday, Good Friday. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So now, with kind of leaving one indoctrination, going, okay, well, do I want to celebrate this with more of the church that I've been going to now? Because these are the traditions that my family grew up with, not what I was in before with a past relationship. So um, I've got the schedule. I know what's coming up, and it's more now. I feel like, okay, if I feel like, and I feel relieved. There's no pressure to be going and doing these services. So, there was Palm Sunday on last Sunday, and I completely even forgot about that because, again, I'm not so embedded into the indoctrination of the other church that I was in to remember the religious schedule. Like it's so crazy how it's just, you're like, all the dates and everything that's happening when it's
Yes.
embedded, right? So, well, I was also just dog sitting too recently. So I was very busy with that. I've got a lot of other stuff going on with the business, which is great. So there's another shift going on there. And then I was called again to check on dogs on Sunday. And so it just didn't even because I was just doing it. They came back into town and they're like, hey, but we just need you one day to just go check on them. And it happened to be a time where I was just not, I would be at church at that time. So anyway, that's okay. So, but I was like, okay, yeah. And so for me, it was just more or less, okay, this is what we would have done on that day. And I think remembering it and going, yeah, these are the important things that we do remember of our faith and religion, whether however we celebrate it, that's fine. So now going forward, yeah. So tomorrow, again, it would be Monday, Thursday, and then the new church I've been going to, again, their services start at 7. And then there's a Good Friday services at 10 a.m. and then Sunday for Easter at 10 a.m. So last year, I don't even think I went to the church, the new church I've been going to. But there's other things now that are, I wouldn't say as important, but just as important. My family that I spend more time with now, we're doing our dinner on Sunday, like a nice Easter dinner.
Yeah.
So, and I may have to cook in the morning or whatever. So, but it's not, like you said, the church is not priority for me. Whether I'm going and celebrating at this other new church or whether I'm with family, this, that, my priorities in religious life, being faithful to God, all that has not changed. So whether or not you're in a church celebrating it or whether you're with family celebrating it, God knows that you love him. This is how you're celebrating it. That's what it is. Family traditions from the past have changed for me over the years. So I think, again, shifting a mindset from going from very indoctrinated church things after another, and going, okay, well, I know what it's all about. It's not more or less important to me now. It's that, okay, I came from this area of my life. It's shifted now to another area. But I think what shows your true love for God is that, I mean, it's always there. You're always thinking about him, okay, he came for us, he died for us. This is the belief that I've had as a Christian growing up. We know his love. And then just to go, okay, yeah, thank you, God, for that. That's great. Other people that may not be a religious or Christian, whatever, they've got their other things going on and they have their traditions. Shout out to them for, keeping their family involved in things, whatever they're doing. I think that's really also important, is just the family aspect. What are you doing out of love and care for your children, and, showing that. So some people may not, like, again, have even be doing Easter, right?
Yeah. Well,
They just
and
don't know the Christian religion. They don't, whatever, right? The
yeah.
Christian faith, whatever you want to call it, go into. I mean, again, it would be a whole other 5-hour episode, I'm sure. But
Yeah. Well, I heard a recent acronym for God, God,
yeah,
Grand Overall Designer. So I tend
love that.
to not use God so much unless it's in vain. uh, but it's more universe, spirit, higher self,
Right.
higher power, whatever that. I mean, it's all I feel we are innately born with, because you go to the remotest jungles and they're usually
Yeah.
worshiping something. It's like we know we have this sense that there's something bigger, and whatever you want to call it is whatever. But anyways,
Yeah.
Grand Overall Designer, God, is another acronym for that.
Like the
Okay,
designer of
besides,
all. Very
besides
cool.
that part of the Easter,
Yeah.
uh, some other ways that maybe families or people could also see signs of spring besides the buds on the trees and the grass is turning
Right.
green is there's farmers markets, there's your garden centers are starting to open up, right? There's some
Oh,
maybe more outdoor community events that are happening. Is there anything like that that helps you get outside and shake winter off, or like my mother-in-law
oh
says,
my
blow
goodness.
the stink off?
I don't know about you, but okay, this is like kind of like my weird thing, my guilty pleasure, if you will, in kind of a way. But I get so giddy and just like so excited. I know it's weird, but
I
I
didn't
love
say it was
going
weird. You
into.
said it was weird. Not
Well,
weird.
some people might
Well,
find it
let's
weird.
see.
Okay,
Finish the story, and
so
then I'll tell you if I think it's weird.
when you walk into like the dollar store or to like Walmart or, but I mean, those are usually my two places that I kind of majorly shop at. But anyway, I just like when they start filling the shelves with like the pool toys and like the gardening stuff and
Oh, yeah.
the water noodles. I'm just like,
Happy Carrie.
and the Easter stuff too, like the baskets and the
Yes.
chocolate and all that. I'm like, oh, the nerd in me is like, the little kid in me is like, oh,
I
thanks
love that.
for, the water squirty toys and
Yep.
the Nerf guns and the, it's just all the colors and just, oh, it's like, oh, it's playtime, it's like have fun and go outside and do all the things. That to me is just like the bomb.
Oh,
I
I
don't
love
know,
it.
but
For
that's just,
me, I'm a farm girl, grew up on a ranch. So when I start seeing those, the calves, like seeing the babies,
oh, the
seeing,
babies.
that's I used to ride in the morning before I got on the bus, before I got on the school bus. So I'd take out whatever horse I was breaking and
Yeah,
jump, go out and you'd see fawns and you'd see little rabbits and you'd see all these little baby animals and
oh,
everything's just
fresh
that rebirth,
from
that
heaven.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty cool.
It is.
And that
But
circle
okay,
of life.
animals are born all year round, just so you
Yes.
know.
Well, I know, but
For
in
the majority, but
nature,
it's so cute.
majority nature
Yeah.
knows that spring is this like the safest time for
Yeah.
them to be viable
Yeah.
and I mean majority of people breed their cattle so that they do calve in the spring. Not all, some are fall, but
No.
that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just one of those signs. And something I've noticed. So I went to a retreat lately,
Yeah.
and it was like this kind of a spiritual retreat for like with sound bowls and Reiki and that kind of thing. And one thing I noticed there when we were doing some relaxing stuff was just my own natural rhythm is to I breathe. I actually have I breathe slower. I When I move, it feels more comforting and comfortable to be moving a little slower. And I kind of went, wait a minute, that is not how I operate on the daily. I'm in this rush energy and boom, I'm just accomplishing all kinds of stuff. And so that was a big shift for me to go, wait a minute. So rhythm of nature and to recognize that, like that's why I find nature so grounding, especially in the spring, is okay, nature has its cycles and it has its rhythms and it just like for hundreds and thousands of years and it's going to continue that way. And and yeah, we'll have the odd freak storm that destroys some of the blossoms on the trees if it's spring
Yeah.
blossoming or like it did to our apples last year. But there is this just this gentle unfolding of life and not a panic to rush. So trying to tune into that. So
Yeah.
that was a big shift for me to recognize, wait a minute, when I really just sink into life and not in my head and my to-do list and juggling all the balls, well then I
Yeah.
actually operate at a slower pace and that feels comfortable.
Mhm.
And
Even
there's going to be
though,
times we're energized, right? But yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. No, I was going to say, even though like when we do the whole house cleaning and the purging, I find everyone takes like, oh, it's a weekend. We got to be done in a weekend. No, there's no right or wrong way to be doing a purging. Some people could be like, I'm just going to tackle my bedroom today and the closet may take like a month.
Yep.
That's fine. It's however, again, your own natural rhythm of it. Why not have, you could even do a couple of people over and a little wine tasting party in your
Yeah.
bedroom.
And share.
If you want to do it a weekend, but to kind of have fun, but there's no rush. When you went into kind of the slowing down, what picture came to my mind was just, laying down on the grass by some trees in the summertime,
Yes.
just sitting there having a picnic and no care in the world, just, and it doesn't have to be a Sunday afternoon. It could be any day. But you know how you just take in those moments and you're like, you just look around and you're like, it's like a perfect day. Why can't we have those days every day? Right? Instead of, does it have to be a summer day? Maybe we can take the stillness in the wintertime and go, oh, it's a
Indoors.
perfect
Yeah.
winter day. Yeah. Or well, out. Yeah. Me indoor.
I'm
Put
indoors
a picnic in
on that one.
the living room.
Yeah.
But I've in the past, even though again I'm not a winter person, however, there were days that I remember shoveling snow on a driveway and just go. It was actually a nice, warmer winter day when
Yeah.
it was snooking and it was melting a little bit, but it was just refreshing in a
Hmm.
way too. So just finding those refreshing moments in every single day and go, okay, maybe yeah, slow down a little bit and go, hey, why is there a rush? Think about that. Why are we rushing? Why are we not enjoying this just a little bit more? Is it, are we rushing because, oh, some people have to get their kids at the end of the day, or we have an appointment at this time, or we're doing this, blah, blah, blah. It's like the rush, rush, rush. Okay, plan ahead a little bit. Go, oh, okay, I've got this and this today. Okay, well, I'll be there for this. If I get the closet done today, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, I'll go back to it a little later in another year, maybe. I'm just kidding. you know, but I do like that.
But I'm not quite so fluffy.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not fluffy. Exactly. So I think those are really important things to take in and go, enjoy the spring as it comes in, because soon enough it will be, August and we're looking again at going back into the fall. So literally we've had, I think, 8 months of just the cold and the winter and, the yuckiness. So now we can go, hey, let's spring and just go, take it in every day, just, nice. And put on your list something productive for your spring, whether it's purging one room or making up a new family routine, maybe, you know,
Or check out
or-
something local that
yeah, Like you said, a farmer's market you've never
Yeah.
been to, you know, get the kids
Garage
to close your
sales.
eyes and pick something on a list of things and go,
Yep.
water supply day, let's go.
Or grab a bat and a ball and gloves and a couple of kids and go find a backstop in a park and
Yeah,
just have some fun.
yeah,
Kick the ball around. Yeah, or like the bike rides, there's gotta be some bike paths maybe that haven't
you haven't checked
discovered.
out. Yeah, or another town beside us that you have never been to, and
Yeah.
what are they doing for spring? Do they have spring events going on? Or is there spring fling, as they call it?
Yeah.
The little dances at school, spring fling.
I'm going to a music fest in May for my grandson, so that's something that is really
Mm,
fun in the spring.
fun.
Uh, you can also throw it in AI and ChatGPT and just say, "What are some ideas for us to do?" You could say, mention your community or your neighborhood or the age of your
Yeah,
kids or what your interests are and see what it spits out for ideas.
you never know. One thing I do like about it is that it searches the entire web for your
Mhm.
answers. And it's just because us as human beings, we have, habitual practices. So it's like, okay, we will Google and go, "Hey, okay, what are some events going on in Calgary this weekend?" Instead of like, hey, so in ChatGPT and going, okay, what are some of the events that are happening this weekend in Alberta or around Calgary? And then they will say maybe, there's an Oilers game going on.
I was just you were in my head.
I knew it. I just put it in there because I was like, Deena would appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, why not? And so again, going like that's just one super fun thing to do is going and checking out a game and taking in that whole atmosphere and just enjoying it with other people.
Yeah.
Just that's why I just love it. Like it's just a whole atmosphere.
Well,
So
something I've got on the list to do this weekend with the boys is to go be cleaning out flower pots and like the old plants and freshening things up and the flower beds and where there's just yuck from the snow and dead
are you gonna
plants.
paint? Are you gonna paint some flower pots?
Probably not. I think all mine are plastic, but yeah,
Yeah, you
that's
could do
we
that.
could or birdhouses.
The grandkids could paint something on there. Maybe
Yeah,
one could be like Easter, one could be spring, one could be what are your favorite spring things and get the grandkids involved and
we could.
do that. Yeah. Get out the sprinkler and I guess it's not sprinkler season yet,
Yes.
but
It's supposed to be kinda yucky this weekend
I
for
know.
outdoor stuff, but we'll bundle up and go do some things. We often do a picnic, and
Oh,
sometimes we'll just go out like, if it's dark early enough, we can before their bedtime, we can just go look at the stars in the sky too, and they love doing something like that. There's some apps you can actually use that you hold it up to the
that's
sky, and
fun.
it'll give you an idea what constellations there are that you're seeing, so that's kind
Yeah,
of fun.
that is fun. That's a fun idea. Although spring and summer, yeah, now that it's getting later, like to get darker later in the day, it's like, well, hopefully they're okay with staying up and they, because
Oh, yeah,
school's not out yet.
you
So,
keep them up late and then well, only one's in school of mine, but you
oh,
keep them up late and you send them home with mom and
bye.
lots of chocolate. I got the cutest things at the dollar store for them. Um, as they love and especially here where there's the garden and whatever, they just love to catch little bugs and they make they'll use paper and tape all on their own and try and make these little bug houses, and then they're like, "Oh, where did it go? It escaped." So then you have these bugs in the house that you have to find. Or then they started building little bug houses out of Lego. Well, the dollar store had these adorable little domed and it's netted. There's netting and a little plastic frame and a little door. And we always make sure they go back out to their like they spend a little bit of time. They can see them up close and whatever, but then put them back outside in where they like to live. But they'll be able to put them in these little bug houses for the weekend and then
Little
yeah, and then turn
camp
them loose
over.
again. That's something we'll be doing.
That
Sleepover
is
with doing
cute.
little
A
bug
little
friends.
camp. That is so cute. I like
Yeah.
that. And then that can also be for summer too, which is really fun because
Yes.
then you can camp outside and then take your little buggy friends and their little camper thingies and put them in your little tent with you and be like, hey, we're
Yeah.
camping out.
Fun.
All the
Yeah.
fun things. What else for spring? I think yeah, just go into it with a fresh mind and be like, what is something new to do? What is, whether it's checking out a local market, doing something different, going on a different bike ride, going a different route, checking out all the different things, purging a closet. What else?
I think just that daily practice too of being aware of what's
Mhm.
around and just kind of step back as if, you know, you've maybe, let's say you're somebody that, okay, let's say I don't have a crush. I don't on this person, but I'm just using it as an example because I'm wearing his jersey. Let's say Connor McDavid's coming to
Mhm.
visit at your house or somebody that you think is kind of a star. They're going to come to your house. Take a look around.
Yeah.
Look from that. Like if you had somebody really cool coming to visit at your house, uh, is there some area you'd clean up or something you'd change that you maybe walk by every day and haven't even noticed? So I think just kind of noticing and not setting it up. I like what you said earlier, Carrie, about sometimes we think, oh, it's just this big deal, and we're gonna have to tackle all this and get it all done in a weekend, and we're just gonna go in and conquer is so overwhelming and it sets such a high expectation and it's probably not realistic. So
No,
instead,
especially if you have a big house, it's like good luck to you.
yeah, just do a little bit, like just start noticing and do a little here, a little there, and it adds up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, grab some Timmies and fresh coffee and fresh start to the day and put a plan down. Go, hey, I'm gonna, I'm just gonna use the bedroom again because it's just easier. But okay, these are the areas in the bedroom that we want done. It's the closet or a dresser or whatever, and just you can check them off. Then you can do that with each room and go, okay, we can do this, whatever, and have fun
Start
with
with
it.
one drawer. Like I
Yeah,
challenge everybody to just do one drawer of anything. One drawer in the kitchen, one drawer in the bedroom, or one drawer in your office. Just do it. Tackle one drawer even, and you're
yeah,
going to feel so accomplished
yeah.
and inspired. Like, oh man, okay, that's not too bad. And tomorrow maybe I'll do another drawer, and you might even find that you're jumping into it. Another really cool tip that a lady mentioned is a playlist or songs. So the kids can each pick a song. Okay, tonight we're gonna use Carrie's song and 3-4 minutes, whatever. We're just gonna go hard and everybody's gonna clean and we're gonna have a dance party while we're doing it. And then tomorrow night it's mom's turn. Or if it's a weekend, say, or the evening, you have enough time and you're going to make a little bit of a stretch of this, is
Mhm.
everybody go clean your room or everybody tackle the kitchen or whatever it is, this space. And everybody gets to pick one song. And when all those songs are done, we're done. We're going for ice cream or something
Yeah,
like that.
I like that. I like the time limit of
Yes,
it.
knowing that when the song's
Uh,
done, you're done.
yeah, because I'm one of those that when oh my goodness, I will start it and then I'll be like, okay, what else can I do? Like the whole house will be, I will stay up all night and just keep going and until it's done. So sometimes for me, I get like OCD tendencies. I'm just like, I gotta get it done. So now it's like, yeah, put a time limit, go, hey, treat myself out for ice cream or go to a movie or go to something so you're away from that space. That you have to be away. That's the
Mhm.
key thing. If you're not away, sometimes it will override you and you want to continue. It's okay to go out, maybe go grab a bite to eat and then come back and go, okay, let's watch a movie when we come back. So you're still, because you just physically removed from it is important. Even if you're at home, you don't want to go to a movie or go do this, whatever, just even if you go out, go for a walk and then come back. So that it's kind of like closing a bit of like that work day. You're like, okay, that we're done. This is the end of it. So 6 o'clock on the dot, Kate, we're done. That's it. We're gonna go out, go for a walk, come back,
Well,
be done.
that's a really good tip, Carrie, because I think if we dial into that and just lock in and we don't give up until we're so exhausted and we've gone too long, too far,
Too much.
are we very likely to want to do that again? So we're just setting ourselves up for, man, I never want to do that again. Or the next time you see that it starts to need to be done, you're going to resist it because of how you tortured yourself through the last one.
Yeah, the burnout.
Another thing
It's
that,
real. Yeah.
yeah, another thing I read that I found really helpful was to consider if you're kind of struggling with getting rid of something, and if you think to yourself that you are kind of, you're done, you're kind of past this. How do you feel when you discover something at the thrift shop or at a garage sale or something like that? Just like you're excited, it gets an opportunity to have a whole new life with you. So maybe it's kind of lived its life with you, served its purpose with you. You're a little hesitant. You think, well, but I spent the money or somebody gave it to me or whatever. Offer that item and the next person the joy of finding each other and having a new lease on life and a new purpose or whatever it might be. So if that helps you let go of things and move on, then use it.
I like that because I think I need that. My closet actually does need a purging, and it was, I did a lot of purging when I moved into my new place over a year or so ago. It's been about a year and a half. So I did a lot of purging then, and I've been doing a lot of purging over the past, few months actually. So it's been pretty good. But to me, yeah, my closet is basically the last sort of place to purge, and that may help me.
Last frontier.
The last frontier. I might just do the one object, like the one. Well, okay. I did start it because I did have a massive bag of clothes. I did start it,
Good job.
so that
Yep.
was, like about a month. Well, no, not a month, a couple months back. So I did do a major thing, and it was a big, massive garbage bag full of stuff. So again, I want to go back in and go, okay, what's maybe the next little bit? Because I think I did a big overhaul on quite a bit of things, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break, and then I'll go back and do a little bit more, and then But I
Yeah.
like that little bit. I was going to go into books, new
Books.
readings as well. I know, but
Oh,
we're
we
getting
got
closer
time.
to our
We got
hour,
we
but
got 2 more
yeah,
minutes. Let's jump
sure.
in.
Some fresh new readings as
Yes.
well for spring, and a new mindset, what you can teach yourself as well. I think that's another important aspect of, going into renewals and refreshing, and what can you learn that's new, some new readings that you can pick up, or ask a friend what is their favorite book that they're reading now, and have that conversation and see if it's,
Well, I happen to be an author of a couple books that people might find really interesting.
yeah,
One is
yeah,
You Can Make SHIT Happen, and the other one is I Can Make, and it's a companion journal, and it's all around mindset. Like, how can you shift your mindset and create a life that you would love? And
yeah,
some exercises in there, some stories, some inspiration. So yeah, they're in chapters. They're on Amazon, easy to find. So if you just search
yeah.
my name, Deena Kordt, you can find that. But I've written it mostly for women, but I had a lady say, I've shared this with a guy friend of mine, and he just loves it. He's like, I know that it's written for women, but I read some every day and I do some journaling and I've really found helpful. So whatever. That's
Yeah,
just one suggestion that kind of fits the theme of
right.
our
Well, I
shifting.
mean, maybe you can talk to him and you guys can collaborate and do like a man journal
Yeah,
on
we could.
the
Yeah.
same thing as an idea. And, you
Yeah.
know, they need it too. I think everyone needs it,
Mhm.
basically. So, I mean, that's what this show is about,
And
right?
you never stop
Teaching.
learning. Like, never there's no finish line.
No.
It's yeah, I love it. Well, thank you, Carrie. This was really good. I feel very inspired to tackle some more purging and look at some more shifts and fresh starts. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's exciting.
it is exciting. It is. And I mean, this is almost a nice weekend to do anything inside, because if it's going to rain, then kind of gives you that opportunity. And with a long weekend too, it is nice
Hmm.
to spread it out over the weekend, and then put the little fun things in between, and go to the dollar store and get some bug houses. Go get some bubbles.
Yep, bubbles. Gotta love bubbles.
Those are the best, right? Absolutely. Thank you, Deena, as well. That's so cool. Our next shift Happens show will be in 2 weeks.
On the 30th. Yep. And we're lining up some guests for you, and we will just watch our promos and check out the website, and then you will know who's going to be joining us.
Absolutely. And no, it will not be Easter shifts. That
No.
was kind of covered today.
That was covered. Yeah.
Going to go into that. Because I was like, oh, we should do Easter shifts just as we were doing our spring shifts, but it all coincides.
Yeah.
And then in 2 weeks, Easter will be over. So we'll have some good fun stuff coming up. So thank you everyone for tuning in to The Shift Happens. Stay shifty, my friends. Stay shifty.
Bye.
Bye.